Hello, and it feels like I haven't vlogged for some time, but this vlog relates to Module 6 of the Broadcast Yourself workshop, and specifically in relation to the routine required for the podcast interviews. So I want to talk about three things: a progression of those interviews and how the routines changed and developed over that period, the lessons learned from those initial interviews and using the routine, and just the development of an emotional and practical routine to get it right. So I guess it really has been a progression. The speed that the course moves at means that we work pretty quickly and get up there and kind of start interviewing before we're really ready. Interviewing so we're slightly embarrassed rather than waiting too long. And my first interview was with someone I know pretty well, but even when you know someone pretty well, when you're in front of the camera, it's feels a little bit tenser than it ordinarily would. However, I think the interview went reasonably well. We did do it outside. It was a relaxed environment up in Byron Bay, and I guess there was an equipment failure in terms of the first microphone that I bought. That was one of the ones recommended. Kind of fell apart, and a little button fell off. Because we were outdoors, I was using my laptop to record, and I noticed it was starting to get a bit low, so I kind of kept the interview a little shorter than I probably ordinarily would have done. So it was a couple of equipment things to learn initially. Second interview was with the CEO of an international property company at his home. Again, it went for a long time. That one went for an hour. The routine, I probably didn't go through a full routine because I sort of arrived there a bit pretty much bang on time, so I didn't have a chance to go through all getting the right sort of headspace. So that was sort of not a huge amount of routine being used, but it went reasonably well. The next one was a lot more relaxed with a better use of the routine. Again, it was a CEO or a retired CEO of a company, an outdoor sign business, and that was at his home. Went pretty well. A couple of interruptions, but I was well set up for that one in terms of the routine, and then probably even more comfortable with the next one, which was in an office of a guy that runs his own property business, and just getting in the right headspace prior to that, and also not just getting in the right headspace, but really checking the equipment. And then the one that I've just completed was with the head of sport at a school, who's just won a major sporting competition for the first time in 42 years. That's a pretty amazing story. And he's a pretty interesting guy, more in tune with some of the concepts that I want to talk about. And I was pretty well prepared for that one, particularly on the practical. I bought another decent microphone because of what I've noticed is without the microphone there's some real bad echoing and bad noise. So that one's better sound quality having used the microphone. And just now with more equipment, I guess that leads me on to the practical plus the emotional. Getting in the right headspace before the talk, but also now there's more equipment to be concerned about, having enough time to get there, to set up the equipment, to check the equipment works, etc., etc. All of my interviews so far have been face-to-face. I've got two set up for this week so far coming. One of those is a Zoom interview, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes. A lot different to a face-to-face. I'd imagine slightly more difficult to get a rapport, but the routine's pretty similar. I've written out two different routines, one for the face-to-face, one for the Zoom. Largely the same, but obviously just the practicalities of location, either being there or being remote. There's slight changes there. So all in all, reasonably happy with the way that it's gone. Glad that I've sat down and really written out the routine. The guy that I'm interviewing, one of the guys I'm interviewing this week, played rugby for Australia, was part of a World Cup winning team, so slightly more important than some of the other guys. in my mind, to get that absolutely right. He's the sort of guy that's been interviewed by professionals and been on TV and, you know, et cetera, so, and that's the Zoom interview, so I need to get that one 100% right. But he's a pretty relaxed guy, and I've met him a couple of times. He's a good talker, so really looking forward to that one. So thanks for listening, and good luck to everybody, and speak soon. Bye.